The Westbrook Wildcats started the 2022 season with plenty of energy. They returned many pieces from their 2021 state championship team, including Cedric Ware, who was the offensive and defensive MVP of the Class 1A Division I title game. But this senior class knew 2022 would be tougher.
We definitely have a target on our back, and we'll have to live up to it.
In Benjamin, the Mustangs were also expecting a lot. Every player was back from a team that won 10 games in 2021 and earned the school's first district title since 1978. But there was change to deal with. A new coach was brought in just days before practice started, and a superstar player moved in. Grayson Rigdon had already won a state title at Strawn and was named the Player of the Year, all as a freshman. The Hawley Bearcats continued to make program history. In 2021, they played in their first ever state title game, but lost to perennial power Shiner. Coming into 2022, their goal was to get back, and this time, win. And in Albany, Denny Faith was starting his 36th season as the Lions head coach. His team lost in the state semifinals in 2021. But with loads of talented players returning, Albany was ranked #1 in the preseason poll, a first in the Faith era.
Really feel bad about where our season ended last year, and we got a lot of those guys back that want to make sure that they're doing everything they can to get themselves back in that same spot.
Westbrook stocked up on quality teams to play in non-district, with 3 opponents ranked in the top 10. The Wildcats beat Jonesboro and then rallied to defeat Rankin by 1. A 4-point loss to Garden City dropped them from #1 to #2 in the state poll heading into district. The Benjamin Mustangs proved to be the class of 6-man's small school division. They mowed through the competition, outscoring their first 4 challengers 298-12. The Hawley Bearcats started the season with 3 straight Class 3A opponents. The Bearcats rolled past all 3, leading to a Week 4 matchup against the Albany Lions. Albany was 3-0 themselves, but several major players were injured, forcing a change at quarterback. Compton rumbled for 3 touchdowns in a 26-14 Hawley win. But when the game started counting for playoff positioning, the Lions turned it into high gear. Even with QB Cole Chapman out for the first 2 district games, Albany secured lopsided wins.
We fought through really good. It makes you bring out the depth of your whole team and shows you how when people are hurt and on the sidelines, we have more on the sideline that are going to step in and do their part. One falls down, there's always going to be more behind them to step up and do whatever it takes.
In the 3rd district game, the Lions traveled to play Roscoe, the team most people thought had the best shot at giving them a run for the championship. Instead, Albany torched the Plowboys in a 55-0 win. The Lions finished off an undefeated district championship with 2 more blowout victories over Hamlin and Abilene TLCA. Westbrook and Benjamin also cruised unbeaten through their districts, and Hawley remained unchallenged until Week 11 when new rival Cisco came to town.
They're coming for blood. They're going to come to win. They want to go to state this year. So we're just going to have to do everything we can to stop them.
Hawley Holly and Cisco played each other in the playoffs in 2020 and 2021. Realignment put them in the same district this time. Their showdown to end the regular season was anticipated for months, and the game lived up to the hype. An overflow crowd saw both teams make big plays. Cisco's Hunter Long ran over and around Hawley's defense, gaining 225 yards on the ground. When Long went to the air, he found Carter Holton. 3 times the pair of seniors hooked up for touchdowns. But Hawley QB Rody Hooper had weapons of his own, like Deontay Ramon and Chandlin Myers. The Bearcats trailed the entire game until the final drive. Hooper's pass to Will Scott with 3 seconds left gave Hawley the win and the district title.
Because we kept our head up, and we kept fighting, and we kept fighting, and look what it got you.
Yes, sir.
So I'm so proud of y'all.
It was the Bearcats' 5th straight district title. Now they shifted their attention to the playoffs, where they were 6 wins from a state championship.
All in a row.
Yeah.
And we're on the 6 going in now. We got 6 more to go.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
I love you guys. Great
Man,
job.
brother.
Give it 2 cups to Rick Blair!
All 4 teams breezed through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Westbrook got revenge on Garden City, the one team to beat them all season. In round 3, the Albany Lions may have been the underdog to the 12-0 Wink Wildcats. But with 4 touchdowns from Cole Chapman on offense and 2 interceptions by London Fuentes on defense, Albany advanced to the regional final with a 35-18 win.
We told them there's only 8 teams left. Sometimes I don't know if they realize how close they are. So we had a little talk about how close you are to, reaching the ultimate goal.
And Hawley continued to pour it on. The Bearcats scored at least 50 points for the 3rd straight game, setting up a round 4 rematch with the Cisco Lobos. While the first game between Hawley and Cisco went down to the final seconds, this game was never in doubt. The Bearcat defense swallowed up Hunter Long, giving him no room to run. Rody Hooper was precise on his passes. The final score of 40-7 was surprising, not for who won, but by how much.
When you're playing Cisco and you can beat them twice, it means a ton. I feel like our kids came out and played about as close to a perfect game as we could.
Benjamin continued to cruise past everyone with playoff scores of 56-6, 56-0, and 48-zip. The Mustangs beat Whit Harrell in the state semis 76-31, moving on to the state title game. Once again, Westbrook had to deal with a team trying to avenge an earlier loss. The Wildcats beat Happy in the state semis in 2021 and also in the opening game this year. Westbrook defeated Happy for the 3rd time in a year, winning 40-30 and booking a return trip to the state championships in Arlington. Albany handled Collinsville in a shootout in the regional final and made the state semis for an incredible 8th time in the past 15 seasons.
The only thing we want, and anybody wants, is that state championship, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure we get there, and we get there the right way.
Against a team who'd never gotten this far, Albany showed tradition goes a long way. Adam Hill first ran through the new home defense. Then he decided to fly over them. Albany ran away with a 53-25 win, sending the Lions to the state title game. Their coach, Denny Faith, had taken 4 teams to state before, but never won it all.
They've all been good. We need to finish. That's the bottom line. We need to finish one.
Hawley came ready to work in their state semifinal against Crawford. The Bearcats leaned on their reliable running back. Austin Compton carried the ball 30 times and scored 4 touchdowns in the 34-20 victory.
There's a couple of times where we just had to put our head down and go. You know, our kids were exhausted, and you know, they just kept fighting.
The Class 1A Division II title game was an all-Big Country rematch between Lorain and Benjamin. The first meeting was the Mustangs' closest game of the year, a 31-point win. The second meeting was not as competitive. Grayson Rigdon continued to be unstoppable, scoring 7 total touchdowns for Benjamin. Lorain led in the first quarter, but the Mustangs ended the half with 3 unanswered touchdowns, including this 58-yard scoop and score by Brody White. It took Benjamin less than 4 minutes into the third quarter to score 3 more times and end the game by mercy rule. Benjamin had won its first state championship in school history.
It's still surreal, but we expected nothing less. I mean, we set our goals and we had high expectations, and we went out and we achieved them.
The second 6-man game was a number 1 versus number 2 battle, Abbott versus Westbrook. Cedric Ware took over in the second half, earning 4 rushing touchdowns. Parker Matlock's interception here set up Ware's final score of the day. And Bo Payne booted the 2-point kick through to push Westbrook over the 45-point threshold. The Wildcats beat Abbott 69-24, becoming back-to-back state champions.
Amazing, especially with this group. I wouldn't want to do it for anyone else. We bought into the weight program, just been grinding, and we got it done.
Hawley squared off against South Texas Power Refugio. The Bearcats started fast and didn't let their foot off the gas. Compton was once again a star, scoring 4 times on the ground. The Bearcat defense bottled up Refugio's speedsters and forced 4 turnovers. All 4 times, the offense cashed in with touchdowns. Hawley led 28-0 before Refugio scored right before halftime and cruised to a 54-28 win, taking home the state title for the first time in program history.
To go out with the win your senior year, I mean, words can't even describe what it means, you know. It's a dream come true, and I couldn't thank all these guys enough.
The Albany Lions were back at state, fighting to win their first championship since 1961. Just as they had almost every game, Albany scored first. This interception by London Fuentes led to a Coy Lefevre TD. But the game's turning point came with Lefevre on defense. In the second quarter, Lefevre leaped up and plucked a marked pass out of the air. 6 plays later, Adam Hill ran 27 yards, putting the Lions on top by 14 at halftime. As the clock ticked down on Albany's 41-21 victory, their legendary coach, Denny Faith, could finally celebrate a state championship.
This 2022 team has won a state championship, and they not only won it for themselves, they won it for a lot of other guys that have sacrificed and done everything they could to get themselves in this kind of position, and this group was able to just get over the top. So just awesome feeling.